Oh wow, look at that. They're blue now instead of orange.
家族の晴れの門出を静かに見守ってやることもできないとは哀れな者たちだ。確かめに来た。マリの意志を邪魔はさせない。物言わぬ彼女の願いを君がどう知るという。やめろ
Oh shit! We're actually seeing visitors in a cutscene, that's cool. Oh, this looks sweet. I love seeing all these visitors in the cutscene. The barrier's broken, I think. Yeah, it's broken. I think that represents the barrier. Yeah. He's ceasing time? KK warned you, dude. He warned you this would happen. And look where those selfish desires have got you. But where's Mari? Mari? Oh my god, it's like Miranda and Rose! Well, it's just like when Rose took away Miranda's power. If there's no final boss fight, that's great. I don't care.
いていけなかった。
The shackle that binds her to this world.
マリ。
お兄ちゃんは生きて。
俺。
最後に本当の気持ち話せてよかった。
Of course, it's never that simple.
成功だ。やはり私は間違っていなかった。二つの世界は今つながったのだ。
And you become a monster in the process.
その魂は肉体から解き放たれ強化される。私と私の家族は再び一つとなる。失うことも悲しむこともない。永遠の楽園で。
Please, God Almighty, don't let this be a shitty fight. Please don't let this be crap. Oh boy. Oh shit. Oh god, I can't see anything. Oh shit. How am I supposed to avoid that? Oh shit! Oh! Oh, not this kind of fight, please! Not that kind of attack! Oh, that hitbox is pretty fair. You gotta get close to him. That's the only way you're gonna be able to avoid that. Damn. You have got to have a lot of ether for this. Oh shit! Wow. Oh my god. He's trying to get close. Whoa! I did not even see what that attack was. Jesus Christ, this guy has so many moves! Fuck! Run. This whole arena is the battlefield. That is cool. But it's just, I can't get any good shots on him because I have to be so close to him and he's coming forward. Ah, damn. That's not good enough. Yeah, I gotta keep my distance from this guy. He's gonna try to close the distance to me, but that's dangerous. Yeah, so just run away from him, because this arena is so large. That's really good. Oh shit! Whoa! Just gotta run. Oh, good! That's... The darkness is slowly lifting. Oh no, 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 shit, 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 shit! That's not good. Let's destroy his mind, it's made him a monster. Beyond pathetic, yeah. Very feeble. Stay back! There is an invisible barrier, it seems, so that's a bit of a problem. I wish there was just some other barricade. Yeah, hitting this weak spot's gonna be tough. Oh, good, good. The weak spot can actually move. It looks like. Fuck. He is so keen on using that wind attack. He loves that attack. Probably because I'm keeping my distance. I gotta get closer. At least this is a better fight than Okinwa so far. I just hope he doesn't have too much life. That's the main issue. Gotta keep moving, gotta keep moving. He's gonna do his other attacks. No, he's doing wind again, that's good. Yeah, just keep your distance and you'll do nothing but that. That's really good design. I'd much rather take this kind of fight than a shitty boss fight. Like, if it's a simple fight, for a final boss fight with quotes that you want to hear, that's fine. Like, after the shitty boss fight that was Okinwa, I'll take anything at this point. That's not a bad boss fight. Good! This is where he's gonna get even more insane. He's going underwater again.
案外これも悪くねえってな。生きるってのはそういうことだろな、相棒。
ああ、それがお前には見えてない世界だ。化け物。
That's a different Kuchisake. Let's use the stun talisman. The invisible barrier is blocking my way. And they keep respawning right over there. But I'm surprised, because I saw visitors spawning from him the first time he went underwater, but they didn't do anything. They went away very quickly. There he is. Gotta stay away from him. There's that fear we know and love. He's doing an attack, he's doing an attack. Oh, now he's doing elementals. I need to use fire. I need more range. So now he's going to swap between two different parts of his body. Good. When he's swapping, that's at least providing a bit of a vulnerability. That's only that move I have to worry about. And that one as well. Whoa! I gotta deflect that. Or just try to get in between them. No point in trying to deflect that. Ow! Oh shit, that does a lot of damage. Yeah, this phase is the hardest one. Oh, good! Visiting hours are over. That's what the trophy was. So that was an okay final boss. But the final phase is tough. That's what I'll say. It's a better fight than Okinwa, that's for sure.
じゃあこの人たちは。
魂と肉体が切り離されていただけだからな。自分に戻るはずだ。
でもマリは。
Huh?
父さん、母さん。 父さんの命日は12月10日、母さんは6月9日。忘れてない。一度だって忘れたことなんてない。もう平気なふりなんてしないよ。泣いてもみっともなくても僕は生きていく。
Rest in peace, Mari.
次に会うのは俺が最後の最後まで生き抜いた後だ。
家族の前でようやく素直になれたってわけか。
黙ってたと思ったらまだそんな。
最後に一つだけ頼みたいことがある。
うん。
妻と息子に伝えてほしい。俺は最後まで諦めずに生き抜いたと。
Oh, they're still alive? Okay.
必ず伝える。
悪いな、使いっ走り頼んじまって。自分で行ければいいんだが、ちょっと疲れちまったんでな。
ケイケイ。
アキト、もう取りつかれんなよ。死神は俺みたいにいいやつじゃねえからな。
なんだよそれ。勝手に取り付いておいて。礼ぐらい言えよ。
Like he's just not living with all that pain anymore. That's why he's opening up and he's a little bit more light in this moment. Is he gone? KK's gone? And we still didn't meet Dale. I'm annoyed that we didn't get to meet Dale. But at least we satisfied these two arcs. In memory of Robert Altman? I'll have to see who that is. Published by Bethesda Softworks. Yeah, so aside from Akinwa, this game was really good. What I'm expecting from Tango Gameworks. It's just if Akinwa actually didn't feel like it was designed by a new Capcom, this game could have been a lot better. Okay, so Shinji Mikami was the executive producer. He wasn't the director. And that's it. That's the credits. So just to get my thoughts on Ghostwire Tokyo, this game was a blast. I think this is honestly one of my favorite open world games. The boss fights against Yasuo Toko and Komo Ote, and even against the Amalgamation to some extent, they were pretty cool. I mean, the Amalgamation I'm still kind of on the edge about because it was an okay final boss fight. and it was a little strange that it interrupted the whole moment between Akito and Mari. And he just kind of did that as a way of finishing off Hanya. I mean, KK and his group said that they had a lot of trouble with Hanya, but given the state of Okinawa, I was ready to take any kind of boss that wasn't a shitty boss fight compared to Okinawa. She was the worst part of the game by far. So many broken designs with her, so many moments where my jump input just wouldn't register at all. And it was just a fight that forced you to stay close to her to limit her moveset, just like Moreau from Resident Evil Village, but at least with Moreau, I could end the fight in 3 minutes using mines, just crafting an endless amount of mines, and just using an exploit to my advantage to take him out. But this, I couldn't do that, and the bullshit was still there with Okinawa, even when I was doing the exploit. Yeah, she was the worst part, but every other part of this game was great. There wasn't a single moment in this game where I thought this game was going to get worse, but that just surprised me when Okinawa came up. Like, there were so many moments in this game where I said this game was getting better, and it definitely showed. I mean, the combat, it's not as interesting as the Evil Within's combat, and I'm annoyed that the perfect block isn't very good in this game, because all its purpose is to simply stop you from taking damage from enemy attacks. But there's no kind of way to use the perfect block to actually set enemies up to quick purge them. I mean, the only case where this is apparent is against the normal Rainwalker, when you parry him and then you knock him over with your wind attack. And I think it's only with the wind attack. That's what I noticed a couple of times. But just thinking about that, like the ending of this game, the ending was so abrupt. I think with the way they just tried to introduce the motorcycle scene, it was a little too fast, and I know I took quite a while to get this game done, but even still though, that felt so rushed at the end. And the tasks that we were doing, like the brand new enemy type with the Shiromoku, it really led me to believe we were going to be dealing with more enemy types. I thought there was going to be a lot more. Like, all those moments with the Shiromoku and the moments where we were collecting the motorcycle parts felt like they were taking place in the middle of the game. It didn't feel like it was setting up for the end of the game, even though, like, the motorcycle was going to be used to drive into the Black Fog. But compared to Evil Within and Evil Within 2, the way the game builds up the ending is not very good. The ending itself is nice. The way Akito is trying to pay respects to Mari and actually break free from this inner turmoil within him and not being able to disclose his feelings. You know, I like the fact that Akito achieved something similar to inner peace, but my main problem is the moments with Mari should have been set up in the middle of the game, but the only forms of reference we had to Mari was the beginning of the game and also with the phone booths when we were delivering souls. But that still wasn't enough to really set up this emotional impact with Mari, and at least they put in those moments where we're hearing Akito's memories through the Daidara Bocchi. And to think all of that was inside the Daidara Bocchi, it just seems a little strange that we had all those rooms, and I'm guessing that's just the amalgamation of memories similar to STEM, where it was the amalgamation of the collective consciousness of individuals that created the world within STEM. But yeah, that's so surprising. But you know, like the enemy types, I mean, like aside from the normal slashers, I mean, like the fact that they give you the chances to do very interesting things with the talismans and the quick purge, like being able to quick purge enemies when they were sucking the cubes, that right there was really cool. But the lack of any unique animations, like being able to hit enemies during specific animations similar to Evil Within, where you shoot an enemy in the leg and they fall over and then you can punish them with either a match or a stomp. Like, Evil Within is filled with a lot of hidden mechanics, stuff like what I just listed, that just flesh out the gameplay, but I don't feel like this game was like that. I feel like this game was heavily committed to the whole idea of the elementals and just swapping between the elementals, not really caring about some of the flinch animations that could be generated by using those moves during very specific animations. And You know, I know I said before that the upgrade system was something I was initially hesitant about, but I'm glad that the upgrades are set up as such. I'm glad that they only exist to enhance your fundamentals because they're confident that the basic system that they set up is enough to achieve complexity in the game. They didn't want to create a pay-to-win design. And at least this reflected a bit in the bosses. Even Okinwa, when you were using the X-Blade and you were using the charge attack on the water and also the fire, at least she went down kind of fast and she only had 2 cores. Thank God it was not 3 cores. But that still doesn't change the fact that Okinwa was a bad fight. Like, all the rage I had towards Okinwa was genuine. Nothing's gonna change that at all. It's the worst boss on this game, and it's the first terrible boss that Tango Gameworks has made, and I don't understand how that's possible. But going back to what I was saying, guys, the combat on this game could be a lot better. I really feel like it could have been a lot better. I feel like it should have done with a little bit more complexity and a little bit more, like, subtleties to it, something to reward a lot of playtime. Like, for those actually invested in the game, they actually have some kind of advantage by knowing about these hidden designs, like what I discovered with using the quick purge on enemies draining your allies and the like. And speaking of allies, I still don't really know where I'm at with thinking about KK's gang. I mean, we didn't see Dale, which was disappointing. Like, it felt like they were setting us up to actually see everything happening with KK's gang, and also, the length of the story is so surprising. It's really surprising how short this game is with the main story. I didn't expect it to be as such. But I'm guessing it has to be proportionate to the number of side activities available in the game and with the actual size of the world. So, because of the number of side missions and the size of the world, the actual length of the main story had to be proportionate to that, but I still feel like they could have done something to distract the player from the idea that the story was coming to an end, but I don't feel like they did so with the way the motorcycle section was set up, and with the way it was just building up towards Hanya's penultimate plan. That's just how I felt about the ending of the game, and also, like, again, going back to what I was saying about KK's gang, it would have been nice if we actually got to see more of KK's gang, and we actually got to see, like, a bit more of their character, and so far, like, the only way we were... Oh, Shinji Mikami did piano? He can actually play piano, that's cool. But the only real homages we... Oh, Kumi Nakamura, excellent. But the only real way we understand the characters is through documents and lore, but I kind of wish we had more screen time with them, and we only got screen time with Rinko. But I still feel like this is probably just me not really, like, thinking about the game correctly, and I'll have to look back at the previous videos, but I feel like we should have had a little bit more with Rinko. I don't feel like what we got with Rinko was enough. And at least what we got with Erika was fine. I mean, her boss fight against Kowamote, and then the recordings, and then Rinko talking about her. We could kind of understand her, but I do feel like there was a bit of disproportion with focusing on KK's side of the story and Akito's side of the story. I feel like we spent a lot more time with KK's side of the story than with Akito's side of the story. And that's what I mean when I say the whole setup with Mari just seems rather odd, that they didn't really build up her character enough throughout the rest of the game. And it's only during very specific points, so far from each other, that we actually got some development with Mari. Whereas with some of KK's characters, we only got a bit of development with Rinko and a bit of development with Erika, but at least they were at points that made a bit more sense. And it was still very odd that the game will penalize you for not doing those side missions involving Erika, when that should have been a part of the main story. Like, I feel like the characters are something that I feel should have been refined a little bit more. I feel like with the way The Evil Within utilizes its main characters and also with its side characters, no character ever feels underutilized. Even characters like Joseph, for instance, didn't feel underutilized in The Evil Within 1. And Kidman had a lot of content to her character, basically. Like, there was a lot of meat to her character, and I really liked that. And, you know, like, there was a lot of meat with Stefano, with Theodore, with the administrator. Even Marcelo Jimenez, I feel like, had a lot more to him with his audio logs and with the times where we're with him in the story. And then with, like, characters in The Evil Within 2, Hoffman, Liam, even Sykes, I feel like there was something to those characters. I think it was also with the fact that you could even talk to them in optional conversations. Like, there's something about the way the Evil Within series handles its characters that's done a little bit better than this game. I feel like certain characters are neglected a little too much. But, with my positivity and the fact that, I'm going to have to look back at my gameplay to really understand the moments where you do meet these characters. Like, the fact that I have to ask these questions is something that I feel they should have refined a lot better. The characters and their screen time should have been a lot better. That's what I feel. I mean, aside from that, I've already listed some stuff about the combat. Like, the world was really cool as well. I love the side missions in this game. I've never really played an open world game that's had this good of side missions. And, someone's probably going to make the argument of, they can be very repetitive at times, but I didn't really feel that sense of repetition because they were telling different stories, even if at times the actual effort put into the animations could have been a little bit more, but the only real time we actually saw a little bit more effort put into the animations was that one side mission involving the mask, where it goes onto your face and you have to reunite it with the other mask. Like, we got a chance to see Akito's hands doing something. And there was also that lunar analysis mission where we saw Akito moving his hand right in front of himself to examine the device that they put on their hands. But, yeah, aside from those, I mean, I still love the side missions. I feel like not really at times, I feel like they're on par with the way the main story handles its storytelling. And even if there aren't those third-person cutscenes of Akito, I think they're of similar quality to the main story. And it was nice to actually have a lot of diversified personalities. And I already talked about the whole idea of side missions involving, like, that toilet paper spirit, for instance, how it seems a little absurd and it seems like a comic relief mission, but it actually isn't. If you go back to my explanation, I talk about it a bit. But the side missions were fun. And I feel like they actually helped refine Akito and KK's characters a little bit more, and we got a little bit more insight into the main story. And, that side mission involving Erika was also helpful as well. But again, that feels like the kind of side mission that should have been reserved for a main story mission, because Erika seemed like a very important character to the main story. And the theories they were postulating when thinking about whether she was seeking out her father because she had a bit of guilt in her, but apparently that wasn't the case. That's everything as well. I feel like there were certain side missions that really hinted towards these kind of theories, but then they're like, actually, it wasn't that. I mean, certain ones threw me, but they were actually not the case. Like with Yosuke's side mission with the hide-and-seek mission, where I did the first part, I'm like, is that really it? And then we have other two parts to Yosuke's mission. Yeah, that was a big surprise, even if it could have been a little bit more engaging. And like the whole idea of him being abused, I feel like there should have been a lot more darker themes at play and like darker atmospheres. But it didn't really seem like that with Yosuke's side mission. But yeah, this is a really fun open world game with a pretty good combat system. I'm saying good, I'm not saying engaging or interesting, because like I said, the combat could have done with a lot more potential. I feel like there was a lot of missed potential with certain mechanics, like what I've just listed with the perfect block. The perfect block is the one mechanic that I don't like in this game, because all it does is just stop you from taking full damage. That's it. You can't use it for the purposes of setting up enemies for quick purge opportunities. It doesn't knock over enemies consistently. And there are so many attacks in this game where it just feels like you're putting yourself at risk for perfect blocking rather than using some other method. Like, there are other avenues available to you to avoid damage and not indulge in the perfect block system. And I think that's a massive misstep on the game's part. In Evil Within, I don't feel like there... Oh, and also, one mechanic I forgot to mention was the strike attack. The strike attack on this game was crap. I didn't like it. It did very little damage against the enemies. There was no hit reaction displayed. There was no way for you to actually use the strike attack in hidden areas or like in hidden sections. Like, look at the stomp mechanic from the Evil Within 1. Throughout most of the Evil Within 1, the stomp mechanic doesn't serve any purpose whatsoever. However, when you get to Chapter 7 and 14, and you're dealing with those alter egos, you find that the stomp instantly kills them. So where are those kind of moments in this game, and also in the Evil Within 2? I mean, the Evil Within 2 with the stealth, of course, that was different. But, like, I didn't feel like there was a lot of moments like that with the mechanics in Ghostwire Tokyo, with hidden designs like that were only exclusive to certain enemies or to certain chapters. And the only time this was ever the case is when we were breaking through Yasuo Toko's block, but the detection on the strike attack is horrendous in this game. And I don't understand how they could make that kind of mistake with the strike attack. And I don't understand why they thought it was a good idea to make it where the strike attack doesn't have any kind of hit reaction. That's so confusing. And overall, like, the perfect block and the strike attack are the weakest parts of the mechanics in this game. And with upgrades, you could get ether from them, but you're already getting ether from other sources greatly. So what was the whole point in that? And with certain bosses like Okinawa, you're not going to be using mechanics like the strike attack and the perfect block. There's no opportunity to do so. There's no incentive to indulge in a lot of these mechanics, and it's disappointing. And this is why the combat in this game isn't as good as the Evil Within's combat. I mean, the stealth was pretty cool, I will say. And I like the idea that the bushes are actually tertiary in design rather than binary. But just like Evil Within 2. And I will say, a lot of the stun systems on this game feel kind of similar to Evil Within 2, because the stun systems in Evil Within 2 and the combat are not the best. Like, using the shotgun especially, I'm just glad there wasn't any kind of limb dismemberment mechanic in this game, because the last time we had limb dismemberment was in Evil Within 2, and it would just serve as a hindrance, because a number of times you tried to use the shotgun on a Lost, and you prioritized the limb on accident, and it prevented the enemy from being knocked over because they were focusing on the animation where they're focusing on their arm being like torn off, this and that. Like, I'm glad that there wasn't anything like that, but I still wish the stun systems were better refined, and I just wish the perfect block was better utilized. I wish the strike attack was better utilized. Yeah, that's what I have to say about that. But I will say though, this game I feel had scarier moments than the Evil Within, like with the Shine Dancer specifically, or with the Lamentation. Those enemies represented like the pinnacles of fear. I mean, mainly with the Shine Dancer though, because I feel like with the Lamentation, they used the Lamentation a little too much, that it kinda lost all value as an enemy type. But with the Shine Dancers, they used them during very specific sequences, and I'm so glad that they didn't try to overutilize certain high-powered enemies for the final boss fight or for the later encounters. They had one Kuchisake and a couple of visitors for the final encounter with Hanya. Like, that right there was pretty cool. I feel like there was a bit more trust with the enemies in that part, rather than with the other enemies, like with the Lamentation. Well, what do we have here? Is something supposed to happen? I'm hearing noises right now. It's saying hold to skip. Oh, there we go. Oh, your Tsuchigumo Kifuda transformed into transmission beads. This item will be in your inventory when you either start a new game or load a completed save file. What does that do? I've acquired the Megatsune outfit. I've acquired the music tracks. Sure, I'll save. So, as a score, I would honestly say that this game is either a 9 out of 10 or a 9.2 out of 10. And I'm taking points... Actually, would Okinawa take off more points than that? And plus with the ending as well. You know what? I think I'll give this game an 8.7 out of 10. That's what I'll say right there. I'm going to give this game an 8.7 out of 10. That's what I personally feel. Because of the way the pacing of the ending was a little rushed when you're getting to the ending, and also with Okinawa's boss fight, just kind of marring the ending a bit. But I wasn't thinking about that boss fight at all when doing Hanya's boss fight, or Yasuo Toko's boss fight. But just the fact that this game has one shit boss, and Tango Gameworks never made a shitty boss fight before in the Evil Within series. This is the third game ever made by Tango Gameworks, and they made a shitty boss fight. That's why I've taken points off, because of that, because this is the first time in a Tango Gameworks game where they've introduced a shitty boss fight that's broken. And that's why it's an 8.7 out of 10. And then with the ending as well. And some of the missed potentials with the strike attack and the perfect block. There's a lot that I feel needs to have been refined a little bit more. But that's what I'll say right there. Why is it saying Chapter 4 Contortion? Is that because I'm starting from right there? Like, is it putting me right before the events of the last part of the game? It must be that. But wow, it just ends. I'm disappointed with that. Why does it just end? I wish there was some kind of post-credit scene where Akito was talking with KK's wife and son. Why does it just end like that? And where are we continuing from when we load in? Oh, so it just puts me right back at this part, so you can replay the final part of the game if you want. That is odd. I've never heard of a game do this before. Like with Infamous 2, it put you before the ultimate encounter with the Beast, but you didn't get to play the Beast's final mission. You just got put into the open world and you can just do the side activities, but here, what they're instead doing is they're using a previous save as the final save, as the New Game Plus save, it seems. But what do these transmission beads do? Allows you to transmit souls on the spot without using a phone booth. Why would that be a New Game Plus thing and not something you find in the new game? That's odd. But I guess this is their way of answering my question of how will I be able to hear more of Rinko's dialogue if she's gone? And it looks like the side activities are not here. So I just have this world to explore. So I have Shibuya Underground, Containment Cubes, and Hyakiyako. And then also a lot of these relics to find. But this is definitely a game worth coming back to, I would say. This game is definitely worth coming back to. And it's so surprising that this game didn't have many bosses. I mean, look at the number of bosses in The Evil Within, for instance. Like, the first boss in The Evil Within was the Sadist. Then you fought Laura in her boss fight. Then you fought the Sentinel and those brothers, Nun and Zen. Then you fought the Keeper. Then you fought Ruvik in Chapter 9. Then you fought Laura again. Then you fought Amalgam Alpha. And then you fought Heresy. You then fought the Quell, and then you fought the Sadist again, the Rocket Launcher Sadist, then two Keepers, and then the final boss fight against Ruvik. And then we look at Evil Within 2. So Evil Within 2, really the first boss you deal with is Obscura. I mean, the first boss against the Guardian you can skip, which is good design, because it's not really classed as a main boss. It's like an enemy that you encounter in the open world, or in the wide linear area of the theater district. But Obscura was the first boss. You then fought Stefano. I mean, technically you fought Obscura again in that optional encounter, but you just ran right past her because there was no point in dealing with her. But you fought Stefano, then you fought Liam, then you fought... Now that I think about it, Evil Within 2 has less bosses than I think. But after Liam, you fought Theodore in his boss fight. You fought the Keeper, you fought Laura, you fought the I mean, the Sadist wasn't really a fight though, but it was still cool as a set piece nonetheless. Then you fought the Effigy, and then you fought Myra. So it seems like as the games go on, Tango Gameworks is putting less bosses in their games. But there were only 5 bosses in this game. I mean, if you count the second boss fight against Yasuo Toko, it is a different fight in the second phase. But it's still Yasuo Toko. So, factoring that in, you have Yasuo Toko, Komoote, Okinwa, and Hanya. So there are only 4 bosses in this game, which is so surprising for an open world game. You'd think an open world game had more bosses like that, but apparently not. That is so surprising. But even if that's the case, this is a game that's still worth coming back to because its gameplay, even if it's a little bit more simple compared to the Evil Within, it's fun. It's pretty fun. And then reading up on the lore, this is something I forgot to mention as well. I love reading up on the lore here. This game actually revels in the fact that it's taking place within Tokyo, and this is a Japanese developer. So this developer wants you to understand the culture of Tokyo. It wants you to understand the culture of Japan, and a lot of its mythology, and a lot of its food, and a lot of its beliefs, and its products. I've never been so indulged in this kind of database before. I'm more indulged in this database than with Assassin's Creed's database. It's incredible. And I think, in all honesty, guys, maybe I might record some after gameplay. Maybe I'll be recording some of the side activities here with the collectibles. Maybe I'll record some moments with the gameplay, and I'll learn a little bit more. Maybe it's worth doing. I mean, I'll probably think differently once I actually start it. But there's definitely a lot more to indulge with the lore here, and I'm going to be a lot more invested with the lore right now. And if this game gets a sequel, I'll look forward to it. Like, this is more fulfilling as an open world game than Dying Light 2 was. If you want to hear my thoughts on Dying Light 2, check out my blind playthrough of it. But this game was so satisfying, minus Okinawa, and with how rushed the ending was, with actually getting to it. And yeah, that's all I have to say about this game. So this has been my blind playthrough of Ghostwire Tokyo on Tatari difficulty, a very strange highest difficulty that removes all XP. So what the XP is for, I don't know. But what I'll say is I'm glad the XP has no impact on the actual complexity of the game. You have access to the game at its best without having to pay to win anything. That's great. That's really great. I guess before I conclude this, let me talk about the elementals and my thoughts on them. I don't like water. Water is only useful with its charge attack. The normal attack on water is crap. It has no range to it. Same with the charge attack on water. And the fact that it's more damaging, and the fact that it comes in a bigger abundance compared to fire, that's what forced me to use water against Okinawa. And wind is decent, but like I did experience input drops. Like the input drops need to be fixed in this game. The input drops on your wind, the input drops on jumping, just the input drops in general. I don't know why this game had so many input drops. But I'm just glad that the animations were a little bit more simple this time around. Like, Evil Within, because of the fact that the team apparently didn't have a lot of experience with actually handling animations, like the times when Sebastian's animation looked so bad when he was turning or when he was sprinting, and you were fighting the animations a lot in the Evil Within 2, and it made the combat really bad in certain parts. I'm so glad that wasn't the case here. They simplified the animations a little bit more because of the open world format and because they wanted to favor gameplay a little bit more. But I still feel like the combat in Evil Within 2 is a lot better than this game. I'll have to return to Evil Within 2 and maybe do another walkthrough of the game. I've been thinking of doing an updated walkthrough of the Evil Within and Evil Within 2 on Akumo difficulty. And after playing this game, I think I should do that. And I'm just so glad I played this game because now I have another comparison to Resident Evil Village. And like to new Capcom games in general, because I like this game more than Resident Evil Village, even though I love the character of Ethan Winters, even though I love the boss fights against Heisenberg, Miranda, and Lady Dimitrescu. But the pay-to-win design of Resident Evil Village, the very poor storytelling, the lack of lore, the unrefined and unfinished areas, the terrible enemy types, those factors bring Resident Evil Village down in quality compared to this game. This game's way better than Resident Evil Village, despite the fact that I love Ethan Winters and other characters a lot more. Resident Evil Village underutilized Chris and Mia, and certain characters were underutilized in this game as well. So there are some similarities between Resident Evil Village and Ghostwire Tokyo that are worth acknowledging, and that I will be talking about if I decide to go to Ghostwire Tokyo and Resident Evil Village for another walkthrough, basically. I will say the only positive thing that Resident Evil Village does is it doesn't rush the build-up towards the ending compared to this game. But yeah, that's all I have to say about this game. So this has been my blind playthrough of this really fun game that I've given an 8.7 out of 10 for. I don't think it's as good as Evil Within or Evil Within 2, but it's still a good game nonetheless. And it's a lot more fulfilling as a game compared to Dying Light 2. And it is definitely maybe you'd love Tango Gameworks a lot more as an open world developer, because this developer understands open world design better than most open world games nowadays, where they have to force you into their side quests, they have to make everything dependent upon XP, they have no real difficulties. This is doing a lot of the open world design justice. Real open world design. This game, I was initially hesitant about this game, but this game has proven me wrong. It has defied my expectations, and I love this game a lot. And believe me, I will come back to this game and indulge in the open world. But yeah, this has been my blind playthrough of Ghostwire Tokyo on Tatari difficulty. Thank you guys for watching, and you take care now.